YouTube, what's going on? It's Mesa Sean back at it with some Destiny 2. Alright folks, we have some more information on the new exotic auto rifle, the CERBERUS +1. Hey, I said it right this time. The CERBERUS +1, and that's coming out of Game Informer, and we're going to go over it in this video. Now, a number of the Bungie developers were tweeting about this today and tweeting the article out, which I will link in the description, and they kept comparing it to Origin Story. This auto rifle is kinetic, and it has 4 barrels, but I have a feeling this one's going to be a 450 round per minute auto rifle, but with some bonuses to it. So, I don't know. Let's get into this article. It's pretty cool. So, like all exotics, they have a catchphrase to it, and the catchphrase for this weapon is, because 3 heads are good, but 4 is better. That's coming from a Guardian named Jeza Jeopardy Verlaine. And I'm probably butchering that last name. I think it's French. So let's get into some specifics about this weapon. So let me read this verbatim. It's a patchwork weapon built out of barrels, stocks, sights, and various remnants from other auto rifles, and fans should be able to spot some familiar parts. And we have some quotes from Greg Pang, one of the Bungie senior sandbox designers, and he says, there is some origin story in there. Some of it is Kvastov inspired, but there is a bunch of various guns. So built by a Guardian named Jeza Jeopardy Verlaine, the CERBERUS +1 uses a mysterious power source called the photonic heart to power its unstable physique. Though Jeopardy had other plans for the heart, perhaps she would have sold it or used it to power some sort of contraption requiring immense amount of energy, she had to abandon them after crash landing on the Tangled Shore, and think quick in order to avoid being ripped apart by its inhabitants. Using the scrap around her, she crafted the CERBERUS +1 using the power of photonic heart, which is inside the battery casing you could see strapped to the side of the gun. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, this thing has 4 barrels, and it has 1 main barrel down the center. So it says here, and while Destiny guns tend to feature in-world ammo counters that tell you when you're about to run out of ammo, CERBERUS +1's ammo counter is kind of busted. It can tell you only how much ammo is left for one of its 4 magazines at a time, so the counter increments up and down as you fire. Don't worry about reloading though, you reload its entire magazine stock at once, like you would any regular auto rifle. So here's a quick gif of some gameplay of it. I'm sure we will get some more high-res gameplay during the summer, but you get the point. This is a gunslinger invading, playing the game mode Gambit, and they're just mowing down this other hunter here. The team admits that the gun is directly inspired by the Contra's spread gun. The gun's early debug name was SS Spread Shot, and while its shots don't spread as wide as that iconic weapons, it works wonderfully in the world of Destiny. Each of its 4 barrels is going to fire simultaneously, leading into a constant spray of bullets in a large area. Josh Hamrick says, it's not really a gun you aim, you just try to point and try to get close. Now, Game Informer says this weapon at point blank is where it's absolutely lethal, but it is an assault rifle and it's no slouch when it comes to ranged. Greg Pang from Bungie says, it's tuned to kind of generally give the same DPS at most ranges, so it's got this weird drop-off pattern. He also reassures them that it's not erratic as a shotgun or submachine gun. The middle bullet is always in the middle, so you can always guarantee that at least the middle bullet will hit. Now, in reading about this and looking at the little clips that we have, this kind of reminds me and almost looks like it. Well, it kind of looks like an auto rifle mixed in with a fusion rifle, shotgun, and even kind of like a submachine gun, but it looks like you definitely have to get close to people. Now let's talk about the perks. So Game Informer says here that the CERBERUS +1's perks also help make it versatile. The Spread Shot Package perk focuses the spread while aiming down the sight, making it more versatile against lone distant enemies. That also means if you're being swarmed, hip firing will give you the widest spread possible to push them back. Now it also has Rifled Barrel, which increases its range but slows down the reload, Fluted Barrel, which makes it easier to wield and aim, and it's got Full Bore, which further increases its range, makes it less stable, and lowers its handling speed. Now, seeing that you have these different barrels, that's proof right there that it looks like exotic weapons will now have changeable perks. Right now in Destiny 2, all of the perks are fixed. So it looks like, and we don't have any pictures or anything, but I liked it in Destiny 1 with any exotic that you got, you could kind of fiddle around. I mean, not too much, but you could fiddle around with whether you wanted to mess around with the range, the stability, the reload speed, and so forth. So my question then, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section, if the new exotic weapons will have adjustable perks or perks that we can mess around with, so does that mean that the current exotics we have, will they go this route too? And maybe they'll go back and adjust all of them? Probably not. That's wishful thinking on my part, but I do like the fact that this is proof right here that new exotic weapons will have multiple perks that we could fiddle around with. Some more quotes from Greg Pang. He says, "It's a total mob killer. It also works beautifully against bosses with larger weak points, such as servitors." And by beautifully, I mean that seeing a dozen or so yellow critical hit numbers pop up on my screen put a dumb smile on my face. And while I'm a hardened ADS player, I was much more inclined to hip fire when I knew I could take down multiple enemies at once. It felt strange and great at the same time to have the crowd control of a shotgun or grenade and the reliability of a kinetic weapon all in one package. Now, he also goes on to say this combination of reliable aim and ridiculous fire rate makes it good for crowd control, but don't expect to dominate in the Crucible. All right, so now going back on my previous comment, I don't know why why the Bungie developers kept comparing it to Origin Story, because it says right here, ridiculous fire rate. Origin Story does not have a ridiculous fire rate, 450 rounds per minute. Greg from Bungie also goes on to say it's kind of a specific use case. He said if you need a close-range weapon that doesn't fall off completely as your opponent flees, it should make a solid pick for you. So what do you guys think of the description? I mean, obviously we need some more gameplay, but this does sound like an interesting exotic. But for me, the most exciting part is the fact that we are getting perks that we will be able to adjust on exotics, kind of like Destiny 1. I was not a big fan of that. When we got an exotic, everything is fixed. You can't fiddle around with things. I loved in Destiny 1 how you could kind of mess around based on what you want. Do you want stability? Do you want reload? Do you want range? And so forth. Babel mode is engaged, guys. You know what that means. Leave me a hashtag made it to the end if you did make it to the end. And do me a favor, drop a like in this video, only if you see fit. Follow me on Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream, usually and always on YouTube. And that is it. I am out of here like Vladimir.